मैं कितनी भी आनंद की बात कर लूं, अगर जब तक आप खुद आनंद को एक्सपीरियंस नहीं करेंगे, यू विल नॉट वर्क हार्ड to be there again. So our job first is to make people experience. The whole technology of yoga is actually to prepare our mind and body to go deeper within us.
वो लोग काफ़ी कहते हैं कि यार yoga is just a name, nothing happens. Few people come in, go to amazing studios and then do yoga and then nothing happens.
Most of the yoga which is practiced today, it's operating only in the body level. So it has become a tool to shape up your body or to reduce few inches here or to get into some very difficult postures and all those things. So yoga is not about that.
आपने जैसे उत्सव स्टार्ट किया आनंद, आजकल जैसे लाइफ बड़ी स्ट्रेस भी है, इतनी स्ट्रेस लाइफ में जो लोग आजकल जाते हैं एवरी डे टू ऑफिस, एवरी डे वर्क, लाइफ जैसे भाग दौड़ी है एक तरह से देखा जाए तो।
घर नहीं लेना किसी शहर में तो वो जाए ही ना उस शहर में। अगर उसे शादी करने की अंदर से इच्छा ना है तो वो करे ही ना। बट हम सब लोग जबरदस्ती कर भी लेते हैं, फंस भी जाते हैं उसमें, तो एज अ रिजल्ट स्ट्रेस होता है। सोसाइटी में जो चीज सक्सेसफुल मानी जाती है उस करियर को परस्यू करते हैं इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ व्हाट देयर इनर डिजायर्स आर। तो जब वो कॉर्पोरेट जॉब में फंसेंगे और वो काम करेंगे एंड देन दे विल फाइनली रियलाइज दैट दिस ओनली पेज मनी and there is no other satisfaction that I am getting out of it. So there is an immense amount of stress that comes with it.
अगर आपको संडे की शाम को मंडे का डर लगता है, ऑफिस जाने का मन नहीं करता, सब कुछ होते हुए भी कुछ मिसिंग लगता है, तो ये एपिसोड आपके लिए है। आज मेरे साथ है एक ऐसी पर्सनैलिटी जिसने यूके की जॉब छोड़ी, इन्फोसिस छोड़ा और एक ऐसी लाइफ बनाई जहां बिजनेस भी है और पीस भी है। इनकी डिजिटल कंपनी के 1 बिलियन से ज़्यादा व्यूज़ हैं और साथ में ये योगा फाउंडेशन भी चलाते हैं। आज ये बताएंगे कि लाइफ को रोज का बोझ नहीं बल्कि उत्सव कैसे बनाएं। मेरे साथ हैं आज के हमारे मैवरिक, आज के हमारे गेस्ट विराज मलिक। उनसे बात करने से पहले मैं चाहता हूं कि अगर आपने इस पॉडकास्ट को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, शेयर कीजिए, लाइक कीजिए, कमेंट कीजिए और हमें बताएं कि आपने इस पॉडकास्ट में आज क्या सीखा। तो चलिए बात करते हैं आज के हमारे मैवरिक के साथ। हेलो विराज, वेलकम टू मीट द मैवरिक्स पॉडकास्ट।
Yeah, hi Rohit, good to be here.
थैंक यू। सबसे पहले तो हमें ये बताइए कि आप उत्सव के फाउंडर हैं, तो उत्सव का मीनिंग क्या है आपके लिए?
Utsav means celebration, and it's like a synonym to the inner joy. This is like a feeling that you have inside you, which gets uncovered when you're in the, let's say, process of celebration. So it's your inner joy which reflects out when you're in that state of celebration. Okay, so I started a foundation which is called Utsav Seva Foundation, and the primary purpose of Utsav Seva Foundation is to bring yoga into contemporary lifestyle, because yoga is a tool which helps you discover the celebratory आनंदमय side of yourself जो आपके अंदर है, जिसको किसी चीज की जरूरत नहीं है खुश होने के लिए. So that is within you, हमारे सबके अंदर है, and once we discover that, तो basically life becomes a celebration. तो जिंदगी में फिर आपको चीजों की इतनी जरूरत नहीं रहती, आप खुद ही एक आनंद में एनर्जी हो जाते हैं. So that is the whole purpose.
ओह ग्रेट ग्रेट, गुड टू हियर है ना आपका मीनिंग। पर आपको ये प्रॉम्प्ट कैसे आया कि मुझे ये फाउंडेशन स्टार्ट करनी चाहिए?
Well, it's a long story. So as you have read my background, I was in UK, and I worked in UK as well as in US, and I worked in India as well. So सब कुछ कर लिया था. I came back to India. I became an entrepreneur, did fairly well as an entrepreneur also, created a fairly successful business. But somewhere I think that that feeling of unfulfillment was there. कुछ ना कुछ एक gap लगता था. So someone suggested to me that, why don't you try this retreat in the mountains? 10 दिन का एक प्रोग्राम था विपाशना का
जी जी जी
धर्मशाला में.
जी जी
तो
जी
मुझे उसमें जो चीज अच्छी लगी कि 10 दिन आपका फोन आपसे दूर रहेगा।
दूर या
तो मैंने कहा ठीक है, मैं ट्राई करता हूँ। तो मैं चला गया वहां पे। तो वहां पे जो 10 दिन हमने किया, उसमें थोड़ा ध्यान व्यान लगा। तो आई रियलाइज कि यार ये तो हम तो वैसे ही खुश हैं। द मोमेंट वी आर एबल टू keep our mind at a distance and forget that it's my mind and I come back within me, तो खुशी वैसे ही आ जाती है. It's our mind which troubles us. So the moment I learned this distinction that whatever is in my mind is not really me, it is just thoughts, and thoughts are influenced by everything around me. मैं तो अंदर से खुश हूँ. Okay, so my life started changing a bit, So I started, reducing my indulgence in the mental stuff that I was indulging in. ये भी कर लें, वो भी कर लें, इतना valuation कर लें, इतना profit कर लें. So I started becoming a lot much more content person, and that started reflecting in the way I was doing business. Earlier, it was all about chasing numbers. It was all about setting up goals and motivating your team to make it happen. So my whole outlook towards life changed, and it started reflecting in my relationships as well. Okay, it started reflecting with my relationship with my kids, my parents, my work, everything. And I wouldn't say that I've become a better person or a worse person or whatever, but I've become a happier person. Okay, so somewhere around 2020, before COVID, this thought was there that we should start something whereby I get a place where I practice every day the meditation and yoga, and it should be so near to my workplace that my workplace and this should become one. And during COVID, that opportunity came. So there was a part of my office which I converted into a yoga studio. Okay, and the Utsav Foundation was born from there. And since we started it, we started offering other people also to come and use it as a service. So that's really what started Utsav Foundation. So it's an organic step, and it's a step for me to go near my center. Okay, and if I'm sharing that space with everyone else, it's uh, I think more a favor to me because other people's energy also helps me.
या सो यू आप विपासना वहाँ जैसे आप गए थे धर्मशाला, वो धर्मशाला से आपको आप दिल्ली में ले आए गुड़गांव में ले आए
जी जी,
कह
तो
सकते हैं
वो
ऐसा
मैं गया
हाँ
2014,
हाँ
गया
हाँ,
2014 में, और
हम्म
ये शुरू किया 2021 में. सो बीच
हम्म
में 7 साल का जो समय था, सो उसमें आई वेंट डीप इनटू दैट साइंस ऑफ मेडिटेशन. And I got exposed to the teaching of great Indian guru called Yoganand Paramhans, who was the first Indian yogi who had gone to the US in the
जी
early 19th century.
या
And probably that's why yoga is very popular in
हम्म
US than in India. Okay, so I started, reading him, learning about, his teaching, and somehow I got drawn into his teaching. And so what I realized was that yoga actually is a stepping stone to meditation. So the whole technology of yoga is actually to prepare our mind and body to go deeper within us. And so yoga became my way of life. And the teaching of Yoganand Paramhans actually brought that whole authentic essence of yoga closer to me. And that's when this inspiration also came that maybe we should start a space and share it with everyone, because if something can happen to me, it can happen to a lot of people.
जी जी दैट्स गुड टू है इसमें बात करेंगे पर मैं काफ़ी सुना है लाइक लोगों से इंडिया में भी यहाँ भी काफ़ी कई बार वो लोग काफ़ी कहते हैं कि यार योगा इज जस्ट अ नेम नथिंग हैपन्स इज जस्ट फ्यू पीपल कम इन गो टू अमेजिंग स्टूडियोज एंड देन डू योगा एंड देन नथिंग हैपन्स हाउ डू यू सी क्या आप कैसे देखते हैं
देखिए, स्टूडियो में आप वी कैन स्टार्ट विद बॉडी वर्क, because yoga believes that body is something that needs to be stirred. There's so much of stored emotions. There's so much of things which are there, and it's best to kind of address it from the body. So
Hmm.
body, then breath work, and then the mind, okay, and the lifestyle together. So then you get a essence of what you are without the distractions of the mind and body. Okay, so yoga is just a systematic process. It's like a science. Okay, but most of the yoga which is practiced today, it's operating only in the body level. So it has become
Hmm.
a tool to shape up your body or to reduce few inches here or to get into some, very difficult postures and all those things. So yoga is not about that. Yoga
जी
is
जी
about that how do you go within you to the center within you, where celebration is a way of life, or anand is what you have, which really doesn't need any external objects to be happy. You can just be happy in your own presence. Okay, so yoga is just a science to achieve all that. And if you're lucky, you will come across, different pointers which will take you in that direction. But yes, going to a studio and starting off with physical posture is a great way, is a great stepping stone.
जी। तो वो वही ना, वो मैं यहाँ पे मैंने देखा है, वो बस वो स्टेपिंग स्टोन ही रह जाता है, क्योंकि दे ऑलवेज जस्ट गो टू टोन देयर बॉडीज, दे डोंट गो इन टू मोर माइंडफुलनेस और यू नो मेडिटेशन। और जैसे आपने कहा सेलिब्रेशन, आनंद अपने अंदर, जो आनंद है वो यहाँ नहीं मिलता यहाँ पे, क्योंकि वो सिखाते ही नहीं है ऐसा। वो जस्ट यही कहते हैं कि योगा करो, बॉडी आपकी फिट रहेगी, यू गेट टोन्ड, यू फील बेटर एंड दैट्स इट। वो डीप नहीं जाते यहाँ पे, मैंने देखा है काफ़ी। गया हूँ काफ़ी जिम्स में भी आजकल योगा स्टूडियोज होते हैं, हर एवरी डे देयर इज अ योगा क्लास, बट दे जस्ट डू स्ट्रेचेस, नथिंग एल्स टू बी ऑनेस्ट। तो ऐसे अगर देखा जाए तो आपने ऐसे उत्सव स्टार्ट किया आनंद, आज का जैसे लाइफ बड़ी स्ट्रेस भी है, राइट? तो फिर कैसे वो लोग उस आनंद में कनेक्ट कर सकें इतनी स्ट्रेस लाइफ में? जो लोग आजकल जाते हैं एवरी डे टू ऑफिस, एवरी डे वर्क, लाइफ जैसे भाग दौड़ी है एक तरह से देखा जाए तो कैसे वो कनेक्ट कर पाएंगे? एंग्जाइटी को भी लेके चलें तो कैसे वो, आनंद आप बात कर रहे हैं तो कैसे कनेक्ट कर पाएंगे?
देखिए, पहले तो हमें सीखना पड़ेगा कि अपने साथ कैसे समय बिताएं आनंदमय तरीके से। सो आपको कुछ समय अपने लिए निकालना पड़ेगा। और कोई ना कोई आप शौक, हॉबी, कोई एक्टिविटी ऐसी ढूंढिए जिसमें कि आपको एक मौका मिले अपने साथ समय बिताने का। इट कुड बी एक्टिविटी एज सिंपल एज, लेट्स से, फाइंडिंग अ पैशन फॉर ड्राइंग और पेंटिंग और म्यूजिक or dancing or sports or trekking, so something which breaks your fascination with the external world and make you come back to yourself, so that you get that time with yourself. And if it's in the natural setting, great, like treks are a great way. Solo traveling is a great way. You get pushed to spend time with yourself. We are always looking for happiness or things to titillate us from the external world. So we just need to come back to ourselves. Because शुरुआत तो वहीं से होगी. We'll have to turn our focus from out to in. एक
हम्म।
यू टर्न मारना पड़ेगा लाइफ में. So that has to happen. And I agree with you that initially yoga may look very boring. Okay. So you can find other activities which help you to get inside, like painting, for example. If you have a passion for painting, or if you have a passion for music, start learning a musical instrument. If you have passion for dancing, join a dance class. Okay, so find something that gives you that opportunity to be with yourself. Okay, so yoga is just one method, it's just one path. Okay, depending on your affinity, you can pick your own path. Yoga gives you that flexibility. I mean, life gives us that flexibility. So, yoga is not just about the postures, yoga is about a lifestyle, okay,
हम्म।
where you're pushed to be with yourself, where you understand that the happiness actually has to flow from inside out. Today, the happiness is flowing from outside in. We
हम्म।
acquire objects, we buy vacations, we buy, experiences, we buy new clothes. So, similarly, we are buying happiness. We're buying happiness, it's coming from the object to us, and the object becomes boring after 2 days, few days. Okay, so as a result, the happiness is not lasting. So this is one reason why we are in so much of stress and anxiety, that we have forgotten what our inner happiness looks like. Happiness is always coming in as fast food. Okay. The second thing is that we are resisting our inner emotions. So we are trying to live a life which is not authentic. You know. So if I'm not the corporate type, if I'm the rebellious kind, and I'm trying to live a corporate life because I have to pay my EMI, okay, naturally I'll have stress because this is not the life I wanted to live. Okay, you're in a relationship for the sake of relationship. You don't really want to be there. So naturally, resistance will happen, stress will happen. So stress happens whenever we are trying to resist something. Okay, so we are building those elements within us. So we have to see, assess our life कि कहाँ मैं ये गलती कर रहा हूँ, and reduce those factors. So this is a action which all of us will have to take ourselves if we want to free ourselves from the stress, because the doctors can only give you pills to get rid of the stress, but that's a short term solution.
Yeah, it's not a root
Long
cause
term solution,
solution.
it's not the root cause fix.
Mm.
Most of us are stressed because we were angry and we have not expressed our anger.
Mm.
We want to be affectionate with someone, but we have to be civil and we have not expressed ourselves, so we have not been authentic to our emotions and feelings. Okay, and especially in Western countries, and as societies become more civilized, we kind of live onto the roles that we are doing. If you're a podcaster, you have to live the image of the podcaster. If you're a corporate employee, you have to wear the suit and tie and everything like an overcoat and go to the office like a corporate employee every day. You have to align to the culture. Okay, so maybe that's not authentic for me.
Mm.
That's how I felt when I was in UK. I didn't felt authentic wearing a suit and going to work every day in a tube. Okay, so you have to see what kind of life is seems authentic to you. Okay, if the life is not authentic, if you're not authentic, naturally we are building stress and anxiety.
ये तो ठीक है कि हाँ स्ट्रेस हो जाता है बिकॉज वी आर नॉट ऑथेंटिक विद आवरसेल्व्स. तो उत्सव कैसे हेल्प करती है एज ए फाउंडेशन, एज ए कॉर्पोरेट पर्सन को, जैसे जो सोच रहा है कि यार मंडे आ गया है, मुझे जॉब पे जाना पड़ेगा, जैसे आज संडे हम रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं, कल सोच रहे होंगे कि यार मंडे ऑफिस जाना है, तो कैसे वो उत्सव एक्चुअली एज ए फाउंडेशन हेल्प्स दोज पीपल?
देखिए, उत्सव एज अ फाउंडेशन वी आर ओनली ट्राइंग टू डू अ बिट टू क्रिएट अवेयरनेस ऑन दीज इश्यूज.
राइट.
Right? So we are not, we are localized in our, services. So we have two centers in Gurgaon where people can come, join our classes, and practice yoga. And for a lot of people, it helps. Okay. For a lot of people, it doesn't help. Maybe a dance class helps. Maybe some art class helps. Or maybe a session with the therapist helps. So people would have to find their own unique solutions. All we are doing in Utsav is to create awareness that yes, in a contemporary lifestyle, yoga can fit and has a solution, has a path. Now, if someone is suitable for that path and yoga appeals to them, they can try out our services. Our services are available offline as well as online. So they can join and see if it makes a difference, because yoga's approach is to tackle it from the body. Okay, then use the breath work to settle your mind. And once your mind is quiet, then only you can think about all these things. Otherwise, the mind is in control. Today, the mind is so much in control that there is no opening for anyone to have this reflection within themselves that am I really stuck? Am I going in circles? Their mind itself is in control and it's not giving them that opportunity that they can actually do a reflection, they can do a सेल्फ स्टडी. तो वो मौका ही नहीं मिल रहा है लोगों को आज की डेट में.
तो आप वो जो मौके की बात कर रहे हैं, वो आप मौका प्रोवाइड करते हैं लोगों को कि वो एक स्पेस है जहाँ पे वो आ सकें, और योगा के थ्रू वो, जैसे आप पहले बात कर रहे थे अंदर का जो आनंद है, आनंदमयी
जी.
बने. तो वो आप प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, इज दैट करेक्ट?
देखिए, हम तो क्या प्रोवाइड करेंगे वो तो सबके अंदर है।
जी।
हम तो सिर्फ एक प्रोसेस बता
माध्यम
रहे
है।
हैं कि इस
जी।
प्रोसेस के थ्रू आप जा सकते हैं।
जा सकते हैं,
हम भी
ओके।
जा रहे हैं, आप भी जा सकते हैं।
हम्म।
ये उसके तरीके हैं, ये उसकी विधियां हैं। तो ये तो ऐसी एक सब्जी है, ऐसी एक दाल है जो आपने खुद ही नहीं बनानी है। हम तो एक रेसिपी बता सकते हैं, उसे बना के दिखा सकते हैं। इट्स लाइक मेकिंग गुलाब जामुन. Whatever I may explain you that this is how it tastes like, but first you have to get the taste of that. मैं कितनी भी आनंद की बात कर लूं, अगर जब तक आप खुद आनंद को एक्सपीरियंस नहीं करेंगे, you will not work hard to be there again. So our job first is to make people experience it. Once they experience it, naturally they will have to find a way to be in that state most of their
हम्म।
time. Come what may, they would be happy. They have to be happy. So this is our goal.
अगर देखा जाए विराज, आजकल के मैं पढ़ रहा था, कहीं रिपोर्ट देख रहा था कि 86% कॉर्पोरेट एम्प्लॉयज़ ना मेंटल हेल्थ इशू से जूझ रहे हैं। तो आपके थॉट से क्या गलत हो रहा है? क्या वो अगर को जैसे मान उत्सव फाउंडेशन में आए, या फिर जैसे आपने कहा डांस, जैसे आप अपना आनंद ढूंढें जैसे है, तो उससे क्या वो अफेक्ट हो सकता है, इम्पैक्ट हो सकता है कि उनके मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज कम हो?
If work-related stresses are going on in the world, और इंडिया में तो और भी ज्यादा है, क्योंकि इंडिया में there is a disbalance between the number of jobs available and the number of people which are there, right? So there are lesser number of jobs and more number of people. So as
यहाँ
a
भी यही
result,
है। तो,
हाँ, तो as a result pressure बहुत है.
हम्म।
Pressure to perform. There is a corporate ladder, there are office politics, there is inappropriate work design, or inefficient work design, pressures of redundancy. So all these are real issues. Threat of AI now. So work is not a joyful activity for 90% of the people. It's something that they're doing because they have to make a living. Okay. So when we are doing something just for the sake of making a living, and the whole HR structure is around gratifying the high performers. Okay, it is all about cleaning up the weed, which is 10% of the non-performers. So naturally, there is pressure, there is stress. Okay, now this can only be removed individually. So इसका एक कोई institutional solution possible नहीं है. People would have to work individually because no corporate, whatever come may, can provide the individual motivation, okay, to find their own bliss. So people would have to do that effort because at most corporates can provide good work culture. They can provide decent work packages. They can provide decent salaries. They can create good work environments. They can reimburse some of the expenses which are involved in, let's say, joining a wellness program or
हम्म।
going for a self transformational retreat, so to say. But initiative to individual nahi lena hai. So I think the responsibility lies with the individual. Okay, the work would become more and more challenging as we go forward in the society. There would be more and more pressure. So people would have to introspect that are they in the right kind of a job? Are they doing the right kind of thing which stimulates their authentic desires? Okay. Are they living the life that they wanted to live? And once these things are sorted out, then they just have to do the best and leave the doership elsewhere. Today there is an immense amount of doership which we as individuals wear because of the role that I have, which is general manager, vice president, executive senior vice president, or let's say software engineer. So we have fancy titles, fancy roles, and we take those roles very, very seriously. Okay, and the entire doership responsibility is coming onto my head, whether I fail or succeed. The whole doership, I'm taking the responsibility. So we as individuals, first we need to understand that I am just doing the role. And if this role is a mismatch to my inner composition, okay, my inner desires, naturally there is a mismatch. There will be stress. Okay. And then, secondly, if there is excessive sense of doership, there will always be stress. Because if you take इमेंस अमाउंट ऑफ प्राइड, अगर आप अच्छा फील करते हैं जब आपको शाबाशी मिलती है, तो आप बहुत बुरा भी फील करेंगे जब समथिंग गोज रॉन्ग. तो थोड़ा सा डिटैचमेंट हमें क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा. दैट इज द वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस दैट विल हैव टू क्रिएट इन आवर लाइफ्स, एंड इट्स इंडिविजुअल्स रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. तो स्ट्रेस तो बढ़ रहा है, बट अवेयरनेस भी बढ़ रही है धीरे धीरे कि हाँ, वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस चाहिए. देखिए, शुरू में रोटी कपड़ा मकान की फाइट सबके जीवन में है. ठीक है, लोग घर भी लेते हैं, उसकी ईएमआई भी देनी है, लोगों को शादी भी कर ली है, फिर बच्चे भी होते हैं. सो वो सब जिम्मेदारियों में तो हम लोग सब बंध रहे हैं. अब बंध रहे हैं तो वो जिम्मेदारी पूरी भी करनी है. लोन लिया है तो उसको पूरा तो करना ही है. बच्चे पैदा करे हैं तो उनको बड़ा भी करना ही है. तो या तो आदमी पहले ही अवेयर हो और वो सब चीजों में ना फंसे. अगर घर नहीं लेना किसी शहर में तो वो जाए ही ना उस शहर में. अगर उसे शादी करने की अंदर से इच्छा ना है तो वो करे ही ना. बट हम सब लोग जबरदस्ती कर भी लेते हैं, फंस भी जाते हैं उसमें, तो एज अ रिजल्ट स्ट्रेस होता है. तो पहले ही अगर उतनी अवेयरनेस सोसाइटी में क्रिएट हो जाए कि आज बंदा काम ही वो करे जो वो एक्चुअली करना चाहता है, तो आधी प्रॉब्लम वहां सॉल्व हो जाएंगी. तो आधी प्रॉब्लम इसीलिए है क्योंकि आदमी वो काम कर रहा है जो वो करना ही नहीं चाहता.
करना नहीं चाहता है. यस, या, या. तो यही
तो
वो
एज अ रिजल्ट स्ट्रेस हो रहा है.
तो यही वो प्रेशर और पीस को बैलेंस करती है चीज़ ये, कि आप सोचें कि आपको करना क्या है एक्चुअली, वही आपको आनंद देगा ना जो हम
बिल्कुल.
करना चाहते हैं. जो चीज़ें हम नहीं करना
बिल्कुल.
चाहते वो आनंद होएगा ही नहीं, हमारे अंदर ही नहीं आएगा. तो हम बाहर से ही बस वो काम कर
आज
रहे हैं.
आज ज्यादातर बच्चे अपने पेरेंट्स के हिसाब से एजुकेशन ली है. सोसाइटी में जो चीज सक्सेसफुल मानी जाती है उस करियर को परस्यू करते हैं, इररेस्पेक्टिव ऑफ व्हाट देयर इनर डिजायर्स आर. तो जब वो कॉर्पोरेट जॉब में फंसेंगे और वो काम करेंगे, एंड देन दे विल फाइनली रियलाइज दैट दिस ओनली पेज मनी एंड देयर इज नो अदर satisfaction that I am getting out of it. So there is an immense amount of stress that comes with it. And then they buy assets and they take liabilities, which keeps them in that,
इन द
you
लूप,
know,
या,
गोल
या.
गोल घूमते रहो.
घूमते रहो, या. एक ईएमआई खत्म, दूसरी ईएमआई
So
स्टार्ट, दूसरी खत्म, तीसरी स्टार्ट.
so this is the problem. So I am very happy that today I'm seeing a lot many youngsters more aware, figuring out what they really want to do, then following pre-existing paths which existed for the previous generation. And if you're a podcaster, you would know that podcasting as a career did not existed 10 years back,
या, या.
right? So lot much more such new genre of works will emerge, which will appeal to the hearts of the young generation. Okay. And if people are doing those tasks, even if it makes lesser money, even if it's more insecure,
जी.
they will be much happier.
हैप्पियर. 100%. यस. 100%. वो जैसे मैंने अभी पढ़ा था, आपके दादाजी ने भी आपको, आपके ग्रैंडफादर ने आपको कुछ कुछ कहा था जिससे आपकी लाइफ चेंज हुई. तो होपफुली जो ऑडियंस सुन रही है आज का हमारा
ये
एपिसोड, वो
आपको
भी
कहाँ से पता
सीखेंगे.
चला?
जी, मैंने
ये आपको कहाँ से?
सर्च किया था ऑनलाइन,
अच्छा.
तो वहाँ से आया. तो आप प्लीज़ शेयर करें कि आपकी लाइफ जैसे कैसे चेंज हुई फिर यहाँ से. आपको कैसे पता लगा कि हाँ भी ये मुझे वापस जाना चाहिए.
नहीं, मेरे देखिए, दादाजी ने तो बहुत सारी बातें कही और बहुत सारी चीजें इम्पैक्ट हुई. तो आपने पता नहीं कौन सी रिसर्च में कौन सी चीज देखी, बट जो मेरे को एक बहुत अच्छी उनकी बात याद आ रही है अभी, वो ये था कि आई वाज लकी इनफ टू स्पेंड अ लॉट ऑफ हिज लास्ट डेज. आई वाज एबल टू बी विद हिम एंड हैव अ कॉन्वर्सेशन विद हिम. So एक चीज जो उन्होंने मुझे बोली कि यार, and he was very successful businessman. I come from an agricultural family, so he was the first one who kind of broke that agriculture to the industry barrier. So he was the first entrepreneur who kind of started brick business. So, and he was immensely successful, and he was highly respected among his brothers and the whole relatives. So in his last days, once I was sitting with him and he said, यार देखो जी, काफी कुछ मेरी जिंदगी में ऐसे ही हुआ. लोग सोचते हैं कि मैं पता नहीं क्या कर दिया, बट काफी कुछ ऐसे ही हो गया और होता चला गया. ठीक है. And his brother was, he had started engineering and he was doing the same thing, not as successful. There were, other relatives who were, more smarter, more hardworking. But lot many more things happened to him. So he said, देखो होती चली गई. तो बाद में मैंने इस पे जब सोचा तो मुझे लगा कि यार एक्चुअली वी this is how life is. Life actually happens. Sometimes we become barrier to it, and sometimes we don't flow with the life as we should flow with the life. We have our own ideas about life. We have our own concepts about life. Some of those concepts have come from society. Some of those concepts have come from our education system. Some of those concepts have come from our parents. Okay, so it is not always about how hard you work or how smart you are. It is also about how peaceful you are with life. It is also about, how much you love what you're doing. Right? And life happens. Life has different plans for everyone, but we want to impose our plans on life. So I think that was one turning point which kind of changed my thinking. And as a result, now I don't really plan as much. Earlier I used to have a lot of plans and I used to, be very goal oriented. Now I'm okay with life, let life surprise me. I don't really have very preconceived notions about how life should be and what an ideal life is. I actually don't mind whatever happens, so this is a big change that has happened. And as a result, I think I've been able to release a lot of energy, which was stuck in making things happen my way. It was my way or the highway. So those changes have made a big impact.
नो इट्स ग्रेट टू हियर एक्चुअली हम वही मैं सोच रहा हूँ यहाँ पे भी हम बस ये आई मीन इवन दो आई डू पॉडकास्टिंग आई डू अदर थिंग्स एज वेल राइट सो हर वक्त दिमाग में यही रहता है कि क्या करना है कैसे करना है पर जैसे आपने अभी कहा ना तो मेरे दिमाग में भी वो घंटी बज रही है बेल बज रही है यार रोहित तू कहाँ जा रहा है ना तो यू हैव टू फोकस लेट लेट द थिंग्स हैपन एज दे आर है ना वो इसी कारण आप जैसे बात करते स्ट्रेस होती है राइट क्योंकि आप जो चाहते हैं वो नहीं होता जब तो वो स्ट्रेस होती है फिर आप दूसरी चीज़ करते हो फिर तीसरी करते हो देन यू गो इन टू द लूप that always busy, not enjoying your life, not having the anand in your life, basically. So I'm learning as well. But by the way, जो बात अब मैंने पढ़ी थी ना वो आपके दादाजी ने your grandfather, when you were here in the UK, you said okay, वो पूछ रहे थे कहाँ काम कर रहा है वो कहते मैं यहाँ आपने कहा कि मैं इंग्लैंड में वो कहते हार्ड वर्क तो वो कर चुके हैं so you are just there
Right.
to work, right? So that was this prompted you to come back and then start your own journey,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
great, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. तो विराज बताएं आप जैसे ऑब्वियसली कई प्रकार का कई टाइप का योगा होता है तो आपके उत्सव फाउंडेशन में क्या टाइप के योगास करवाते हैं
देखिए यहाँ पे हम लोगों ने भिन्न भिन्न प्रकार के योगा फॉर्मेट्स अरेंज किए हुए हैं. सो
जी
आई अंडरस्टूड दैट मॉडर्न men is very complex. You know, he associate his liking and disliking too much. Some are suitable for people who want to sweat it out. Some are suitable for people who want to relax. Some are suitable for people who want to do more restorative type of work, healing and stuff like that. So we have different formats and we name them differently, like they come from also different traditions of yoga. So what had happened, like in last few hundred years, there have been different traditions of yoga that have happened. Like there is hatha yoga tradition, which comes from the Nath tradition, okay, which is immensely popular. Then there is a tradition which comes from Mysore, which is Vinyasa, Ashtang Vinyasa yoga. Okay. Then there is Yin yoga, which is more relaxing, form of yoga, where you hold postures for a longer time. Then lately, in last 10 years, anti-gravity aerial yoga, where you use aerial props. as something to hold you to do like inversions, for example, or a lot many more activities in the air. Okay, so there are different formats of yoga which are available today, and each one of us is an individual, and we have our own liking and disliking goals on the body. Okay, we have our own limitations also, so you can pick and choose whichever formats work for you. Okay, there are also formats which are more fusion formats, like power yoga, for example. So power yoga is when you kind of make some cardio with yoga. You have more repetitions and more cardio. Okay, also have some dance formats, which we call as beat and breathe. Where there is pranayam and then there is free flow dancing after that. So we have experimented with yoga without losing its authenticity. Okay, so what makes a yoga authentic? Yoga is authentic if it captures the end goal of yoga, which is bliss. Okay, so we are not losing that as a focus. So we don't want to promise people that, okay, we're going to make you thin. We don't want to promise people, okay, your ailment will be removed, or you will not have these diseases. So that's not really what the goal of yoga is. The goal of yoga is to make you free from these limitations of the mind so that you can experience the happiness which is beyond the mind. Okay, that is the ultimate goal of yoga because it is our mind which is constantly creating the worries, the fear, different thoughts that are catching our attention, and we are holding those thoughts. So once we learn the art of freeing ourselves from the mental patterns, okay, the freedom actually happens. So all these formats actually help you to reach that state, to get a glimpse of it. And naturally, when you get a glimpse of it, then you would want to be there more often, right? And you yourself would invest to be there. So all these formats are essentially helping you to build your inner awareness so that the distance between you, the real you, and the mind, the mental construct of you, that increases. Okay, so that your identity shifts from what you think you are, which is just this body and mind, to the inner light within you, which gives light to this body and mind. So once that shift happens, a lot of worry evaporates. You become more content with life. Okay, now naturally, the habitual pattern of our body and mind is to keep pulling the identity to body and mind. नहीं, आप यही हो, आप छोटे हो, काले हो, लंबे हो, बड़े हो, मोटे हो. We have different labels to how we define ourselves. We have different mental constructs of our experiences, aspirations, desires, where we want to go. So if our identity is shifted to the mind and body and stays there, then the life itself is a roller coaster ride because the mind and body is always changing. It can never be still. Our body will grow, then it will start becoming old, then it vanishes. Same is the mind. There are latent tendencies of the mind, there are thoughts within the mind, which always keep changing. So, if our happiness is based on the body and mind, it is not going to be a permanent state of happiness. It will always be a roller coaster ride. So, once we understand that today my happiness is based on my body and mind, that's why it's temporary. Then my effort begins to change my basis of identity from this body and mind to something beyond this body and mind. And that is what I'm trying to do. For naturally, this conversation would not make sense to a lot of people unless there is an opening and there is attention that they can comprehend what I'm talking about. And that attention can be developed by body work, by breath work, by different formats of yoga, or any other form of playful activity like sports, like trekking, okay, music. So we also host a lot of music programs. So um, There is a separate group of people who find passion in music. There is a separate set of people who find, passion in painting, artistic expression. So once we indulge in those things, we are able to find the attention that is required to understand that my thoughts and body is not me. There is something in me which is aware of the body and mind and my thoughts. And that is actually the real me. Okay. So once that shift happens, life starts changing. Okay.
वही मैं
And
सोच
it's
रहा
a
था,
difficult path.
डिफिकल्ट था, या इट इज़, वही मैं सोच रहा था, इट्स क्वाइट डिफिकल्ट, बट जैसे आपने कहा कि इंडिविजुअल को खुद ही करना पड़ेगा ये, सो,
जी.
बट आपके जैसे उत्सव, आपके फाउंडेशन में तो हर उम्र के लोग आते हैं, या सिर्फ आप देख रहे हैं कि जेंजी ज़्यादा आ रहे हैं आजकल क्योंकि वो थोड़ा डिफरेंट सोच रहे हैं?
So we do have different things that attract different people. So
हम्म.
we also have a health cafe. So a lot of Gen Zs come to our health cafe.
हम्म.
Okay. Okay. We also host different experiences like sound healing and dynamic meditations. So a lot of Gen Zs come for those kind of things.
Those kind of things,
But
yeah.
जो regular हमारे people who are regular are essentially people with who are 25 to 50 age group. So I
Okay.
don't know whether they which generation they would
Yeah.
fall into.
Yeah, I'll always ask my daughters, you tell me which generation I am, Zen Alpha or Zen whatever. Yeah. तो सो विराज, ये आप जैसे कि आप प्रैक्टिस जो करनी है, क्या आप डेली करते हैं, या इस क्योंकि ये इट्स नॉट इजी टू स्टे इन दैट माइंडसेट, राइट, एंड टू स्टे हैप्पी इन अ पीस, जैसे आप बात कर रहे हैं, तो यू हैव टू प्रैक्टिस डेली, और यू कैन प्रैक्टिस लाइक twice a week or 3 times a week as well?
Look, the body aspect of yoga you can practice maybe a few times in a week because the main objective of the body side of yoga is to stabilize your body so that you can be in the state of meditation still for a longer period of time, so that your body doesn't trouble you. That's the
Right.
whole objective
That's the
of
whole
asana.
objective. Okay,
And
right.
so the way Sage Patanjali has defined asana is that comfortable is asana. So anything comfortable and stable is asana. So if you can be comfortable in a chair and you can sit for half an hour, it's a good posture. So anything stable and comfortable is required for you to be in meditation. If you want to, go through the process of meditation or, meditate, stability is required in your body. So that's why body work is important. Okay. The breath work is important because breath is direct correlated to your mind. If you see when you're angry, what happens? Your breath starts going fast, right? There is a direct impact with your breath. Right. So what the yogis realized was that by regulating my breath, actually I can calm my mind. So if I'm feeling anxious, all I have to do is to do mindful breathing, just become conscious of my breath and my mind settles down. Okay, so even if you can practice yoga a few times in a week, it is good for the body. Okay, it is good for your health, physical health. But practicing mindfulness, the dhyan part of yoga, every day, even if you do for 5 minutes, okay, is essential if you want to make the inner journey. तो चाहे आप 5 मिनट भी बैठ के आप थोड़ा सा ध्यान लगाएं, it will go a long way. It will create that habit pattern to shift the identity from outer to inner. And there are various techniques. The simplest one to settle your mind is to observe your breath. Observe the incoming and the outgoing breath. So we can do this experiment right now. You can just sit straight and you can close your eyes and you can just observe your breath. Your body should be completely relaxed. Your face is completely relaxed. Observe each incoming breath and each outgoing breath. If different thoughts are pulling you away, come back to your breath. Hari Om Tat Sat.
ये ना थॉट्स वैसे ना माइंड को कंट्रोल करके तो it was becoming very difficult for me to there were a lot of thoughts coming on दिमाग
So
पे
as you practice, it would become easier for you to dissociate from your thoughts. But this is like a simple practice that you can do on a daily basis.
daily basis
This
5
doesn't need you
minutes
to go
yeah
anywhere.
yeah
5 minutes. Okay? Just conscious breathing. Just conscious breathing. So this is the simplest and the most powerful yoga. Simplest and the most powerful yoga. If you're not able to concentrate on your breath itself, you could do some chanting. Like Om is the mantra which you can chant. It's got three sounds: A, O, Ma. Om. So maybe 21 times Om chanting before conscious breathing. So you will have to put in the effort, Rohit. So if
yes
anyone
that's
wants
true
to progress onto
yeah
this path,
yeah
we'll have to put in the effort. And 5 minutes is a great way to, start getting into the habit. So you don't really need to join a yoga studio. You really don't need to join any fancy organization, pay any fees.
you can start at home
Just
yeah
self practice.
self
You can
practice
start
yeah
at home with
yeah
just simple practice. And once you do this practice, see, whether it's making any change and see for yourself how distracted the mind is, how scattered the mind is. And once we start pulling our mind back to the source, a lot of peace starts coming in, a lot of understanding starts seeping in because our external world is a reflection of our inner world.
inner
If
world
the inner
exactly
world
yeah
is scattered, the external world is
Ev-
also scattered.
scattered true very true
So, this is the essence of yoga, and this is the simplest yoga. Uh, we don't need to complicate it. This is the simplest and the most powerful yoga.
अमेजिंग विराज अमेजिंग दो लेसन्स मैं लेके जा रहा हूँ ना इस पॉडकास्ट से पहली तो ये 5 minutes you do daily connect with myself and second is that let the things happen जैसे हो रही है लाइफ जैसे आपने कहा कि लाइफ जैसे हो रही है चीज़ लाइफ को स्ट्रेस मत करो होने दो एंड बी पीस विद योर सेल्फ खुद आनंद कैसे लाया जाएगा ये सर्च है मेरी मैं खुद ढूंढूंगा इसको कि कैसे लाया जाए होपफुली जो ऑडियंस जो है वो भी उन्होंने कुछ सीखा होगा इस एपिसोड से एंड गाइस प्लीज़ लेट अस नो इन द कमेंट्स एंड मैं डिस्क्रिप्शन में डालूंगा उत्सव फाउंडेशन का लिंक एंड इफ़ यू आर इन गुड़गांव प्लीज़ ज्वाइन दैम एज वेल सो विराज थैंक यू वेरी मच आपका यहाँ आने के लिए हमें काफ़ी चीज़ें एक्चुअली सिखाने के लिए भी कि कैसे हम लाइफ को कनेक्ट कर सकें अपनी जो स्ट्रेसफुल लाइफ है जो चल रही है आजकल लाइफ में तो थैंक यू वेरी मच
इनफैक्ट अगर आप कॉन्शियस ब्रीदिंग और ओम चैंटिंग नहीं करना चाहते, so two other very powerful ways to do yoga is one is laughing.
okay
So, focus more on smiling and laughing every day.
Mm,
Second is dancing.
mm.
So these are other two techniques. So even if you could do 5 minutes of those every day, they will change your life too.
There you go. There you go. Another snippet, isn't it? Another advice. Wicked. Amazing. Thank you, Viraj. Thanks a lot. आपका यहाँ आने
Thank
के
you.
लिए.
Thank you, Rohit. Thank you. All the best.
Okay, guys, मैं फिर आऊँगा नई गेस्ट के साथ next week. Till then, take care, stay safe, and keep dancing, keep chanting if you can, and keep doing meditation at least for 5 minutes a day. Till then, take care. Bye for now.